coming. We are the On School of Irish Dance. So today we have athletes and dancers from Corey and Harbor Creek and Waterford performing today. So you're going to see a combination of hard shoes and soft shoes. We'll tell a little bit about the sport of Irish dancing and the art. So excited to be here. So that was our opening dance that's called a reel. Our next dance is going to be Shay. She's going to be doing something called a slip kick. Okay, next up is Kate. He's going to be doing a reel. This is a little bit different dance. Now, while I have the microphone, this has nothing to do with Irish dance, but I'm just going to take a minute as Tate's dad, and I need to give him a formal apology. So here's my story. So Tate is a Lego maniac. He has been working for months and months on a on a ukulele to display here. Well, Dad, being the bad calendar guy that I am, thought that drop-off was on Monday. So my daughter Shay came up, she had things to drop off. Didn't happen. They're like, no, sorry, it was yesterday. So today, I just still wanted to be able to show his creation that he spent months and months working on. So, in order for Dad to kind of make up, this is probably going to be like me buying him some more Legos, probably a Tim Hortons expensive drink, and we're gonna have multiple arts. We have Legos, we have art, we have dance. Good, so thank you. But in all seriousness, just a couple things about Irish dance. So if you noticed in the last dance, Shay had on soft shoes. Those shoes are called gillies. Probably most people are familiar with Irish dance from river dance. That's kind of what made Irish dancing popular in the country. So you're very familiar with hard shoes. So as the dancers come and go, notice if they have hard shoes or soft shoes on. So again, this is Tate, and he is doing the reel. Genevieve doing that, and again, she has on her soft shoe gillies for this dance. This little troll lives in our home. Okay, before we start, I also, as a dad, have to apologize to Bree, because again, I failed to drop off her drawing. So Bree, what I wanted to do is make sure that we got to show your chicken drawing here at the fair. So another piece of art that Dad forgot, so we're going to display it here. So as you'll notice, we have Irish dancers of all ages. They typically can start around 4 or 5 years old. Usually around the end of high school, early college is when the competitive years end. But at some of the competitions we go to, we'll see, people into their 50s and 60s. So Bree is going to do a light jig. She has on, you'll notice her skirts. Every dance school has their own colors and their own dress outfits. So Bree is wearing the Anya beginner outfit for the academy. So the next dance we're going to do is a three-hand with Genevieve, Tate, and Shay. So before we get that dance going, I just want to tell you a couple more things about Irish dance. So it is both a sport and an art form. From an art form and performance standpoint, our school will often around St. Patrick's Day, we're very busy. We usually have 20 or so performances in the Erie area, part of the parade. So that's a very festive time. That's the performance side. Obviously we're here doing a celebratory dance. There's also the competitive side. So as I mentioned, Irish dancers can start competing when they're 4 or 5 years old. And just like any other sport, they go up through the ranks. So similar to karate or something, there's different levels. We have 60% of the dancers on stage today, but we've been able to travel around the country from Las Vegas to Texas to Minnesota during competitions. This past summer, just pointed out, Shay and Tate on the other side, they competed at the Nationals competition in Washington, D.C., and our school right now is getting ready for the regional competition, which is called the Rockets. That goes on over Thanksgiving weekend, and this year we'll be traveling up to Minneapolis, Minnesota at Thanksgiving. The weather's going to be great, but that's kind of the next big competition that the dancers are getting ready for. So again, we have Shay, Genevieve, and Tate. They're going to be doing the three-hand. in Irish dance, it can be done as a solo dance or as a team dance. When a group of dancers, sorry about that. When a group of dancers is competing as a group, they call it a Cayley. So there can be 2 dancers, 4 dancers, 8 dancers, sometimes 16, but that's rare. So both sides of competition is possible. Next dancing is going to be Morgan. She's doing a hornpipe. So real quick, if you notice, we have moved from soft shoes to hard shoes. So Morgan has on her hard shoes, which are the more traditional Irish dancing shoes. So you'll be able to hear the sound she makes when she's doing her dance. It's kind of rare to have an Irish dancing crew show up at a small town parade, so it might feel like this is kind of a niche thing. But when we were in Washington, D.C. over the summer for the nationals competition, there were actually 4,900 dancers there representing 17 countries. So there are, in bigger towns, it's very popular. When we lived in Columbus, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, our dancing schools would have between 100 and 200 students. So it's kind of niche here, but it's a very up and coming thing. So Tate, Genevieve, and Shay are going to be doing something called the show slip jig, and you can see that they've all moved into their hard shoes. about being a part of the Irish Dance Culinary is during St. Patrick's Day when we go to perform. One of the places we go is the Zucker Club in Erie on 38th. And the dancers will do that last dance, and there'll be about 16 of them doing that at the same time on a wood floor, and it's packed in, and you can feel the floor shaking, and it's just like, you like hear it and feel it, and it's a really great time. So next up are back to Morgan and Bree, and they are going to be doing a reel. Okay, next up is when we get into the audience participation portion of it. So if there are any kids, or adults if you want, that would like to come up and learn the reel, you guys can come up the walkway here and we'll just teach you a quick dance while we have the dancers with us. Do we have any brave volunteers? Anyone? I know you front row, front row. You gotta come up. Yeah, come up right around. And you girls want to come up? You want to come up and learn? Just go right up and through the door and come to the back. All right, this is what I like. Some great volunteers. Actually, sorry, we're going to teach the jig, not the real one.
Alright, hi everybody. Okay, so the very first thing we do, you probably noticed that we don't use our arms at all in Irish dance. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your hands out, put your thumb in your palm, cover it up with your fingers, and put it by your side, and do not move your arms at all. Absolutely no moving your arms. Okay. So, next thing we do is we point our toe. Point our toe. Okay. Everyone got that? Okay, perfect. So now we're going to watch our Irish dancers, because they're professionals. And they're going to jump together. Then touch your knee. And then bring it behind. And then stomp, 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 stomp. As loud as you can. Really, yeah. Really try to break up the cement as good as you can. Okay. Perfect. Now you're going to jump and keep that foot in front. So jump and touch your knee. And bring it back. And then stomp, 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 stomp. And now jump one more time. Touch your knee. Bring it behind. And stomp, 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 stomp. Now here comes the hard part. You're going to kick as high as you can. Like try to kick your forehead kind of high. Can we try that? Okay, there you go. Wow. Good job. All right. Jump, and then you're going to bring it behind, bring your back foot behind one more time, and stomp, 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 stomp. So everyone got that? Pretty easy, right? Can we all go pro now? All do river dance now? All right, why don't we move up a little bit so we don't run into anything? Everyone can, yeah, there you go. Okay, we're going to try that one more time, or do we think we can do it to music? I think we can. Let's do it. All right, just watch our Irish dancers. They can do it. Just watch them. You'll be fine. All right. Yeah.
There's a couple things else I wanted to talk about, just some insider baseball with Irish dance. So you'll notice that is one of the trademarks of Irish dancing is they don't use their arms at all. If you look back in history, there's some different stories of why that started. One of the thoughts is that when the Irish were under English rule, there was no dancing allowed. So in order to keep dancing, in like farms, they would have just like a half door. So if their upper body looked straight, but their feet were doing all the movements, you couldn't tell that they were dancing and they wouldn't get in trouble. Is it real or not? I don't know, but it's a good story. So one of the things we do to practice that before big competitions is they will actually practice with pieces of paper here, and if you drop the paper, you fail. So that's part of the way the dancers get good, because as they're starting to do all the things with their legs, they take the focus off of their arms. Just one other piece of insider baseball. It is very hard to dance on slippery concrete, so the dancers have done a great job here. But usually before a competition, especially on their hard shoes, could you guys just show the bottom of your feet? So they don't have a lot of surface area, so they'll often put something called gaffer's tape right where their feet touch. So it gives a little bit more friction so that when they go to get a really high kick, they don't slip. So this is going to be our last dance of the day, and the dancers are going to dance to no music. This is just a cappella, so the music will come from their feet. Thank you guys. We own the School of Irish and just a couple clothing thoughts. We have 2 locations. One's in Meadville, which is where Lucy teaches. Becca, our main teacher, we teach up, or we have school in Erie. All 5 of my children have danced. We've been doing it for 17 years. If you're interested, let us know. We've been able to travel the country, make friends everywhere, and it's just been a great thing to do. So, if you just let us know. Thank you for your time, and have a great rest of your day.